The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the country at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. This afternoon, former Director of National Service and her deputy Gifty Oware appears in court for the first time today. Also coming up, a lawyer for discharged third accused in ongoing trial of former National Signals Bureau Director says the court's decision to discharge Mildred Donkor has vindicated the long-held view that she had no criminal intent. And much later, rising kidney and liver complications linked to galamsey drive surge in production and demand for medical infusions across hospitals. We'll hear from Hospital Pharmacists Association, which is demanding tougher measures to end illegal mining menace. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the High Court has discharged the third accused in the Kwabena Adu case, Mildred Donkor, after the Attorney General filed a notice to discontinue her prosecution. Mildred Donkor was a director of Advantage Solutions Limited and was facing charges of conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. And Eli Klim Agbanava is lead counsel for the third accused.
We will say that we are grateful to the court, for discharging my clients. Generally, upon receiving the brief, I always believe that there was a total lack of mercy, to commit a crime. So what has happened is really in line with our thinking, and go back home and take it all in and see what we do next, right?
Right, but if you look at the charge sheet, counts 10 and 11 has been listed, money laundering and then conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Yes.
How does that affect everything?
It doesn't, because there are also other charges relating to the crime of stealing, and if you see, my client was not mentioned as being part of the crime of stealing. Her name only appears in count, I think 11 or 12 or so.
10, 11.
10, 11, yes. So it's pretty clear that in terms of the formation of whatever has gone wrong, she was not part of that conclave, to decide on anything, So that's all I'll say.
On a personal note, does this burn the bridge or affect the relationship between the first and second accused and then your clients?
I'll leave that to my clients. They knew each other before me, so I wouldn't want to get involved. My work does not extend to that.
All right, thank you very much, Counsel.
Right, thank you.
And you have Eli Klim Bamava. He is lead counsel for the third accused, Mildred Donkor, in the National Signals Bureau case, and she's just been discharged by the Attorney General. Her case has been discontinued. Well, would bring you some more on this here from our court affairs correspondent, Lord Adwasari, who is currently speaking to our sister station, TV3. Let's listen to exactly what he's saying.
And separately. Now, the case ongoing right now is that of the National Signals Bureau former director, Kwabena Adu. I indicated earlier on that the third accused in the matter, Mildred Donkor, she has been discharged. But before that could even take place, you recall that at the last agenda, the court was set to make its ruling on an application to stay proceedings by lawyers of Kwabena Adu. Now, what happened was that at the last agendas, Kwabena Adu lawyers, led by lawyer Atachia, filed an application for the prosecution to disclose certain documents that they described as exculpatory, but that was dismissed by the High Court. Now, in relation to that, they filed an appeal to challenge that decision by the High Court. And once that has not been heard, they filed application to stay proceedings, for which reason we're here in court today, and that was dismissed as the first business of the day, for which reason the hearing continued. Now, even before the discharge took place, Lawyer Atachia objected vehemently to the notice of discontinuation by the prosecution against or for Mildred Donkor. His argument was that the prosecution led by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Shremsai, should have, as it were, filed a motion and not just filed a notice of discontinuation, indicating that because of the manner in which they are described Mildred Donkor, they couldn't just come and make an oral application to say we are discontinuing the case. They should have filed a motion, for which reason the court would have granted, and then they can file the witness statement for her. Now, the judge in the matter, Justice Nyudu Nyante, he indicated that he actually saw that notice of discontinuation dropping all the charges against Mildred yesterday on social media, even before he came to court today. So he had somewhat an idea about what to expect today. He indicated that the Attorney General had a prerogative to, in his power, choose who to prosecute or otherwise. And so it cannot be the case that what the argument that Lawyer Atachia was making, that the prosecution should file a motion, will hold. And so he dismissed that objection and then discharged Mildred Donkor. And so as we speak, the second prosecution witness, director of the National Signals Bureau, she is tendering in her witness statements right now, after which we would proceed to go to either the Criminal Court 4 or Criminal Court 5, where we are expecting that Osiasibe Entry, the former director of the National Service Authority, and then Gifty Oware, the former deputy director, their trial or their case will be heard. We are expecting that, if anything at all, they are pleased for the charges, the various charges that were proffered against them will be heard, and then we take it on from there. Kemini.
Oh, very well, Lord. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you.
And you heard there, Lord Edu Asare interacting with colleagues at TV3. They're giving us an update on what happened in court today. Remember that Mr. Dubois and his spouse are facing multiple charges, including dishonestly appropriating public funds, willfully causing financial loss of some 49 million cedis to the state, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. And speaking of legal matters, the former executive director of the National Service Authority, Osiasibe Entry, and his deputy Gifty Oware are expected in court today over alleged financial misconduct running into several millions of cedis. Mr. Sibe Entry faces 14 charges, including causing financial loss, stealing, and money laundering. Prosecutors say he approved payment to over 60,000 ghost service personnel, causing huge losses between 2021 and 2025. His deputy, Gifty Oware, is accused of misappropriating about 38 million cedis and diverting 31 million cedis from a loan facility for service personnel into her private company, Blocks of Life Consult. And so here on the Midday News, the Ghana Hospital Pharmacists Association is urging the government to adopt tougher measures against illegal mining, warning that the health impact is already severe. The association says that rising cases of kidney and liver complications linked to galamsey are up the production and demand for medical infusions across hospitals. Our correspondent William Evans Income has been following the story from Kumasi, where the association made the call on the sidelines of the 16th annual conference of the Ghana Pharmacy Technicians Association. William Evans Income joins us live on the phone. William, if you can tell us exactly what the association is saying about the link between illegal mining and the surge in kidney and liver cases.
Well, so Dr. Emmanuel Osuyafe has said that there's a surge in cases of kidney and liver reported cases, especially from mining communities, and he has attributed the surge in the cases, which of course has also said has caused some level of a spike in infusion to illegal mining, claiming that this particular development is worrying. Beatrice.
But how are hospital pharmacists coping with increased demand for infusions and related treatments?
Well, so he specifically will not tell us how they are containing the kind of situation. But from his posture, you could see or you could deduce that they are overwhelmed, because he's also asking government to be swift in coming out with a decisive measure in containing the illegal mining menace, which is.
And then if you can tell us the specific action or intervention they're asking the government to take?
Well, so he used the word decisive and the need for the government to be swift. But if you are to do some level of extension, then it looks like they are also drumming home that there should be some level of emergency declared as far as the current situation in the country is concerned. Beatrice.
Thank you very much, William Evans Income, following the Hospital Pharmacists Association. But let's hear the chairman of the association and exactly what he said.
The issue of galamsey is a menace to the pharmaceutical sector, and I think as we did indicate from our annual general meeting, we are actually having threat to pharmaceutical production, particularly pertaining to the production of infusions. A number of patients now are being reported with increased issues with their kidneys and then with their livers, and it is a menace to the whole population. And that is why we, as the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, and then the government and hospital pharmacists alike, are calling for swift, decisive action from government. I think we've reiterated severally about the health effects of galamsey. So the decision should be something decisive, and I think we want a more drastic approach.
And you heard that the chairman of the Ghana Hospital Pharmacists Association. Earlier you heard our correspondent William Evans Income. Stay with us.
It's a new year, and Bill's Microcredit is here to support your
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Thank you very much for staying. Now, online ride-hailing drivers in the Ashanti region are issuing a warning to service providers and authorities, threatening to withdraw their services in a widespread strike if urgent action is not taken to address increasing security concerns and the burden of high commissions. The growing discontent stems from a recent spate of attacks targeted at drivers by individuals posing as passengers. Ibrahim Abubakar is a man engaging the leadership of the drivers on this development. He joins us live on the phone with some more. Ibrahim, if you can paint a picture for us how bad the situation is.
Well, Beatrice, they have been recounting some harrowing experiences of their members. In fact, they cited incidents where just last month, a member of them was robbed of his personal belongings and even his car at Barikese. Another incident that had to do with beheading of one of their members by a passenger. And they are saying all these things put
Ibrahim, I'm sorry, we're losing you. If you would kindly reposition yourself so we're able to hear you clearly.
Is it better now?
Excellent. Please go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, the leadership have been recounting some harrowing experience that their members have been involved in. They cited one incident that happened just last month at Barikese, where a driver was robbed of his personal belongings and his vehicle by passengers. Another incident that occurred at somewhere around Kuntanase, where a driver was beheaded by some passengers. And they said all these incidents have been putting a lot of fear in them. And they are arguing that the current safety features on the app are insufficient, calling for more robust identity verification by members. Because they are saying that when they are logging in, the passenger is able to see their details, their pictures, everything. But they are unable to see the details of the passenger. And this is where the danger is coming from. And compounding even the security fears is also the long-standing grievance of what they describe as high commission that's taken by the ride-hailing companies. The commission currently, they said, started at 10%, but they are now paying 28% per trip. And this, they say, makes it quite difficult for them to be able to cover their operational costs and even earn any better minimum wage when it comes to that. So they are expecting that the authorities that be address their concerns, else they've issued a 1-week ultimatum of embarking on a strike. And this, we all know that could severely disrupt transportation services in and around Kumasi. Let's listen to what the Deputy Regional Secretary set upon has been telling us.
We are drivers. When we are signing up on their system, we are being asked to bring our Ghana card. So our names and everything is valid. They have our pictures. When the rider requests, they see our pictures, but we don't see the riders their pictures, and it's a big threat to us. So somebody can use any name. You see somebody will request to come, killer, VS, there. Essentially to say, pussy. You see, if that person harm you, how can you track that person? So it's a security threat to us. They should do something about it. And because of all this, they are pressing us to accept all the trips. Because if you don't accept the trips, they will decline you or they will block you. But there's something they call driver score. When you don't accept the request, your score will reduce. So maybe the better take you to a place that is very dangerous. Because you don't your score to reduce, you need to accept it, and it's a very tedious for us. So what we need the app community to do is try as much as possible to let the riders use a valid name, use their Ghana card. We want to see their pictures so that in any bad circumstances, at least they can be able to track them.
And you had a frustrated driver there. Ibrahim Abubakar is on the line with us. Ibrahim, if you can tell us whether there's been any immediate response from authorities. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Okay, we seem to have lost Ibrahim Abubakar on the line. Now, the city is on a bullish run, selling now at 10 cities 69 pesos to $1. The city has appreciated in rapid fashion, having started the week selling at 12.10 to the dollar. The development, according to some experts, could prove counterproductive for exporters as the swift changes hampers revenue. Let's engage Dr. Julius Nanojima, who is the Executive Director, Center for Policy and Economic Analysis. Doc, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Beatrice.
Are you able to tell us what's driving the sudden surge in the value of the city?
Yes, I think this now is a common knowledge, and since we've been monitoring the economy, it's something that is expected to be happening at this particular time.
Okay, but others are saying that it's because the city has now dropped from 12 to 10 per the dollar because of the tranche from the IMF.
So it's just based on demand and supply principle that we are aware of. So anytime there's more dollars in the system, definitely to meet, demand, it means that, yes, the pressure on the currency, which is the dollar, will definitely go down. And when that happens, we see an appreciation of our city. Looking at how the entire economic policy, the direction of the finance minister has been, is to really look at prudent fiscal and monetary policy and also fiscal consolidation from the beginning of the year till now, tightening up, our public purse, and then also controlling spending and expenditure. And then now you are getting more inflows of dollars, supported by, a surge also in your good export. Clearly, you should expect what we are, witnessing in terms of the exchange gain appreciation that we are getting with our city currently.
What could this rapid appreciation or how could this affect exporters and businesses that rely on foreign trade at this time?
Well, I think it would be a good news for them, most importantly when we are approaching December. If we recall a little about maybe last month or two, beginning of, ending of September, and then entering into October, we realized that the currency was, depreciating in terms of the city. That happens that local importers or businessmen and women were now sending in their, purchase orders overseas and then trying to order more items for the Christmas festivities. And then, when that happens, clearly the pressure on the dollar increases. So that is the time that we witness the depreciation of our currency. Fast forward till now, we've all seen what gold or what cocoa used to do for our currency. Currently, gold is doing that for us. And then also, just with the ended review of the IMF fifth review or so, clearly the markets, the speculations are favoring, our economy. So this is good news for our importers because they'll have access to, the supply of the dollars. And then to meet demand currently when we are approaching December, that is the Christmas festivities. And let's also not forget that it's even expected to go down more because of, influx of people that will be moving from, all kinds of different countries into Ghana as well as part of the Christmas festivities. So I think it's very simple knowledge that importers can now have a relief during this time. And then also it's good for the business environment since it's also going to affect our price control levels. We are also expecting more decreases in price of goods and services, especially food. As it's been reported by the Ghana Statistical Service that food inflation is really coming down. So clearly, these are things that we need to take advantage of and then move into, like I always say, these are short-term measures. We want to see more medium to long-term measures that we can keep the sustainability running for us as a country going forward.
Indeed, and that's where I was coming to because importers may be happy, but I'm not too sure of exporters. What kind of measures would you expect, and like you rightly said, in the medium to long term to be implemented that would stabilize the situation and make it a win-win for all at least?
Certainly, we can see that if I could check all my, boxes, some of the causes that amount to depreciation of our currency, our books are looking good. If you look at even economic data from Bank of Ghana, our trade balances are showing in, surpluses for some time now. Bank of Ghana have come out with a lot of compliance and enforcement to control the forex market, and then also make sure that people are not doing things that will affect the forex market. Currently, we have a commodity that is trading for us. Cocoa has been doing that for us for a long time. Government should also have a balance between cocoa and gold, which one we are going to prioritize as a country. We know the excesses that, gold is also bringing to the country. So I think government should be able to have that balance, whether we are moving in for cocoa or gold, to be able to bring us the foreign reserve that we want to get. But finally, with medium to long term, we are looking at a sharp increase in industrialization. That will be one of the major long-term solutions that will affect our exchange gains as we are recording now. Government, I know some of the policies that government is about to, introduce with regards to industry. And then once that kicks off, what we are expecting is that our import substitution will increase, and then we'll reduce our import. Then government to be able to partner with local businessmen and women, create the factories with regards to the things that we import into the country, which we know them like since maybe rice. Currently, December, consumption of rice will increase. We want to see more production in our local staples like maize, millet, sorghum. We'll be able to produce more. Our Agric Minister is doing well. Like cassava, and then these things are something that once we have industries, trying to blend and create more jobs for us in the country, we'll be able to have a long-term sustenance of our exchange, meaning that we'll not be able to import more, so that we'll be looking for the forex, and you'll be able to create more jobs, expand the economy, stimulate the growth, and the government now will begin to comfortably spend. There's this theory going on, the government is not spending too much and the government is not paying its bills. Yes, it's part of the policy. We need to tighten it up. But you can only start spending when you've put down the structures that will hold or be able to give you that stability, so that when you spend, it will not change all your balances the way we want it to be. So once we're able to consolidate the gains and make sure we put in the industries, work together with industrializing agriculture and making sure that we reduce our import and do the substitution for us in the country, clearly the burden will come down, and then we can begin to be smiling because there's, industrialization going on. Jobs are coming into the country. Investment is also moving into the country.
Thank you so much, Doc, for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
And you have Dr. Julius Nanajima, Executive Director, Center for Policy and Economic Analysis. Now, President John Mahama has held bilateral discussions with the Grenadian Prime Minister Dixon Amis Michel at the Jubilee House. President Mahama says the government is committed to ensuring the full implementation of a memorandum of understanding on visa waiver between the two countries. The Prime Minister is on a 2-day official visit to Ghana, and in our subsequent bulletins we'll bring you more from Komla Klucher. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to srinews.com for more news. Coming up shortly is Business Daily with Michael Ogbadu. Thank you for staying with us.